Hello and welcome to week 2 of CSC399, Making Music with Computers. This week we are going to dig in a little deeper. So last week we set up our environment, we focused on getting the basics of the code, we learned about the library, the music library that we're using, and it's no different than actually grabbing a binder off a shelf and using pieces of it and attaching what we're doing to that. And then we added some notes and we played those, and we actually dug in and got it where we were doing a phrase so we could play one note after the next, which was a lot of fun. It's always a little bit rewarding as you start moving forward. Hopefully you took the time to actually make the piece that was there. You transcribed the music, you printed off the worksheet that helps you with that transcription. It's broken up into multiple ways. Last semester we actually added the bass clef and the alto, the alto clef, because we had some students that were working with that for their midterm project. And so hopefully this has the resources you need on it. It has worked for all my last sections, but it's evolved with every semester. So if something on here would make your life easier, please reach out. This thing is ever evolving. And so this was the version at the end of last spring. I left it as is. But again, if there's something personalizing that we need to do, just let me know. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So if we take a look at, and what I'm going to do is go through this, and I figured since we're doing this virtually, rather than us doing a lot of those activities where we start and stop like we did last week, now that we have the foundation, I'm having you take a look at some of the code that's provided with the program. So if you go to File and Open, and so if we go to the desktop, and again, I've renamed mine to Python Music, and I have taken the samples that were provided with the textbook and I've chunked them into a folder. And so what I'm looking for is we always note the file name in the first comment line, and then notice how the second comment line gives credit to the piece. Especially with these videos, we are not claiming ownership of these songs. We are using little snippets of it. We are following the copyright guidelines for under fair use for educational purposes. So we do not own this music, and we are not making any claim thereof. And your discussion this week will also be with us working to actually add that to our disclaimer for our videos as we move forward. So I look forward to seeing what we come up with. But now that we have those notes, we've gone into there, we've actually added some phrases. This one gets a little bit more advanced, which we'll talk about here right off the bat. But I do want to just talk about setting this. So if we take a look at, here it is, number 2. So if we take a look at this, this is our phrase. Instead of calling it PHR, we have just named it or called it theme here. And so we're adding to that phrase. Notice how in this case we did do multiple lists here where we've added those pitches and phrases. We didn't just stick with the single notes. So like we ended up last week, we actually started with a whole list of them. I would encourage you when you're working directly from the sheet music that you put spaces where the measures are. Since I didn't create this, they didn't do that. And so that's just something we found along the way that has really helped. And so what we're going to do at this time is up here, I am going to do a file save as, because I'm going to edit this from the original. So I'm going back to my desktop, and I'm going to stay within the Python folder. I think I created it up. Yep, here we go. So I'm going to create my week 2 Hubrex folder, which is where anything related to this week 2 is going to go. And then I'm going to create that folder and save this right into there. So now I need to add the comment stating that, Sarah Hubrex on January 11th, 2021, edited from original version. So I'm just adding that note, documenting that I'm making a change to this. And what I'm going to do is first I'm going to play it. All right, so now let's take a look at this. So looking through the code, this is it. It's 33 lines of code. We, once again, are importing from music, and we're bringing in that entire library by putting that asterisk. We've created our phrase, and then we have added multiple sets of notes to this. And in this case, we have added, we're just calling them pitches 1 and durations 1, because remember, they have to equal and they have to be matched. So if we have a pitch, we need a duration, pitch, duration, pitch, duration. And then here you can even see that there's a rest implemented. And we go down here then, and we're adding that note list, which is where we left off last week, where you were adding these lists to what you were doing in the sample at the very end, and then you were checking it. And all this does is we create our list of pitches and we tell it to add pitches 1. And the nice thing is we get to repeat things. So when we encounter a section of our sheet music that's duplicated, instead of reprogramming it, if we are strategic in how we set up our list of our notes and durations, we can just put it back in here again. So you'll see we do pitches 1 and durations 1, pitches 2, durations 2, pitches 3, durations 3, then we go back to pitches 1 and 2, and then we skip 3 this time, and we end with the 4. And then we play our phrase that we did. So let me play this again. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If not, make sure you schedule a Q&A session so we can take a look at this, break it down, and work on it. As you start doing more and more, it will start to become more comfortable, and what we're actually doing will start making sense to you. But now, I want to begin by going back up here, and notice how I'm going to put this right after where I set the theme, and I'm telling it that theme is a phrase. So now I'm going to tell it that I want theme to, and I'm going to set what's known as a parameter for it. So I'm using a dot, and then I set my instrument, and I'm going to go with the accordion right off the bat. Let's only do that one thing. We'll get to tempo here in a bit. So I'm going to play this now because that's the only thing I'm doing. So, and the program works top down. So I tell it to create the phrase, and then I'm telling it to change my instrument from the default of piano over to accordion, and then everything else stays the same. Let's see what it sounds like. Same exact piece, just with a different instrument. And on the next slide, we can actually, if I go forward here, I could also go ahead and do, let's see here. Notice how I can type in the name, or I can actually type in a number. Let's go with the church organ of number 19. Hit the play or save button. Now I will warn you that depending on your computer's MIDI drivers that are installed, these sounds sound different. And so when it comes time for you to submit your projects, you will actually submit an actual MIDI file that makes it sound like what it's supposed to. Even with that, it's not guaranteed, especially if you're working on a Windows machine to a Mac. And that's why in some cases we utilized the videos, which then captured the actual sound that you were going for. There are other installations of MIDI drivers that you can get and install, but for right now, don't do that yet. When it comes time for your midterm project, if you want to do it for that, definitely you are more than welcome to, but just stick with the defaults for right now. And let's really focus in on the transcription, which is the focus for this first couple of weeks. So now we've played around this. Spend the time, explore all of these, go out to the website. There's even more out there, but definitely play around and come prepared to discuss some of those options. Now, The other part of this, we can always set values at what's known as a global level, is I'm also going to tell it to set the tempo. So remember last week where I went through and I actually changed all my quarter notes down to eighth notes. Instead of having to go through, especially as you have a piece that becomes longer and longer, or while you're in that testing phase and you're looking for just a single spot because you know you have some sort of mistake, it's kind of nice to be able to speed up or slow down your piece of music from what the standard is. So you program it according to what the sheet music tells you, but then you actually go in there and change this. So at this point, let's change this to 75. I'm going to hit save. So now it picked it up. Personally, I like the piano best, so I'm gonna just comment out my set instrument and save this again, and then we can play it. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, pause this if you have questions. Go into the general questions forum and post them there if it's not, if we're not close to our actual class meeting. But otherwise, for right now, you could actually wait until tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this. So our meeting is Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon, late afternoon. So by all means, bring questions to class. But the key thing is grab one of your pieces that's working and start adding some of these elements into your code and see what it does. That's the best way to become comfortable, is by doing. Okay, with that said, here is that list again, and if you go out to the website, I would definitely bookmark that. The next part are chords. So let me close out of this because I know there's no chords in that one. Chords ultimately are are made by playing multiple notes at once. So the most common is the C major chord, or I should say it is the one that we're going to see the most. Those of you that have a music background, this maybe already makes sense to you. But here are our majors and our minor chords that we're going to see within our sheet music we're going to work with. The key thing I want you to focus on right now is the fact that we're going to play 3 musical notes at a single time. And so how do we do that? Let's scroll to the next page. Well, here we still got, so if some of you are visual and want the actual piano, this is just highlighting that as well. Those of you that aren't familiar with piano, this makes no sense and you can just skip on past this point. Let's actually open this up. So file, and again, I'm just working with the ones that we have included in the textbook samples that came with this. So this here, I added numbers to mine because I liked that. I should do that in my notes there too. So here we go. Let me actually play this first. Okay, my computer is not catching up, so now that we got that all open, let's go ahead, and it's trying to do too much with me creating a video and playing multiple of these things at once. So going on down back here. Okay, so we've got this. Let me go ahead and save this right away. Maybe that will help go into, because I am going to play around with it a little bit, so I don't want to take any chances. There we go. So now let's play it. All right, let me pause this video and I will pick up at chords and figure out why my computer is not working with this. And it truly just may be that it needs a temporary break. So I will be back. Oh, here, wait a minute. Nope, there is a P at the top of that. Let me try one more time. Nope, okay. So let me give it a try here and see what is going on, and I'll start a new video here in a second.